Hey, yeah, I'm from Arkansas. We say hey. This is Deborah Rose, and I want to talk to you about something that I really love to use in my day-to-day living. I teach it to my parents in my training classes. I use it with my coaching clients. I teach my coaches when they're being trained on how to use it with their clients as well. And it's just a little tool called reframing. It is not a biggie. It's simple to do. It is not about solving the problem, which is why it's so powerful. Reframing is strictly looking at something from a different perspective so that your brain can change tracks. It's going to go in a different direction. We get stuck in our patterns, and that includes the way we look at things and the way we think about them. And so a lot of times our frustration comes from not being able to see things from a different perspective. Now, the beauty about reframing is that the more you do it, the better you get at it. I know that's not proper English, but we're stuck. You're just going to have to deal with that. Um, just shows you how real it is today. That was my reframe for not having great English right then. Reframing gives you the ability to come at things from a different perspective, but as you do that, you're actually making your brain stronger. And the stronger your brain is, the better it is at problem solving. So this is actually going to help you become better at problem solving, even though reframing itself is not a technique for solving the actual problem most of the times. You see reframing a lot in the news. Politicians view it. We call it being a spin doctor. Oh, no, this is not bad. It's great. And here's why. That's a reframe. If you have an old table down in the basement that you use and you treat it like it's not worth very much, and then someone tells you it's an antique, and all of a sudden it becomes very precious. That was a reframing in your mind of the value of that item. Reframing helps us to calm our brains. It helps us to look at things from a different perspective, and it helps us to see things also from another person's viewpoint often as well. So to give you an example, and it's just real simple, is that in a parenting class, a lot of times we'll hear from the parents, I hate what's going on in my home. My teenage daughter doesn't talk to me. Simple reframe of that is, gee, it's nice and quiet in your house. We didn't solve the problem. We just looked at it from a different perspective. The other side of that coin would be someone that says, my daughter and I can't talk to each other without yelling. Well, the reframe of that is, well, you at least have an open line of communication. So see, it's not about solving the problem. It's about looking at it from a different perspective. Now, the way you know that the reframing is doing its job is that if you say a reframe to someone, and they look at you like you've grown another head, or they laugh, or they nod their head up and down, or even if they shake it side to side, you've gotten a reaction. And that's caused the brain to stop and reload and look at things from a different perspective. So what I would ask you to do, I'm not going to challenge you. Why would I want to challenge you? I'm going to ask you to do something for yourself. Every time you have a thought about something where you feel hopeless or helpless, or that you don't know what the solution is, look at it from a different perspective. And a great way of reminding yourself how that looks, comedians do that all the time. Really good jokes are nothing more than a reframe going a little bit to the dark side at times. Think about that. That's why that's so powerful to laugh as well. Um, so with the reframe, you want to try to do several things. You want to try to look at a problem as an opportunity. That's a typical reframe. You want to see weakness as a strength. For instance, when I mangle my words or go back to my Arkansas roots, I think that makes me homey and more personable instead of showing that, gee, maybe she's got a speech impediment. It can make an impossibility something that's a distant possibility. It's not going to happen today, but it will happen in the future. Um, Something against me can actually be a neutral. It doesn't have to be a complete opposite when you're reframing. So a lot of times when I think someone's being real short with me and I take it personally, I'm like, oh, it's not personal. They're just having a bad day. That's another form of reframe. Um, Unkindness, that's just a really great way to reframe. If someone's being unkind, just say it's a lack of understanding. I have a really great example that just happened this week. I asked a group of my friends to do something for me to help support me in a business I'm trying to build. And one of my friends said, no, thank you. Well, I'll admit, I got on my high horse. I got angry. I got pissed. I'm like, how dare they? I do a lot for my friends. Why would they say that? Why would that person say this? So I said, you know what? I bet she doesn't get it. Okay. And it's not her job to get it. This is not what she's doing. I just asked for a favor. So I sat down. So, oh, she doesn't get it. Let me explain it to her. So I did. I sent her a message and said, look, did you know this is what I'm doing? And this is why this is important? No, I had no idea. And immediately the problem was resolved. So that was where my reframe led to a solution, and I got a positive outcome on that. Also, reframing difficult situations will help you to see things from a different perspective, the humor of it, the challenge of it, the fun of it, and it will encourage you to maybe do things that you wouldn't normally do on your own, like this right here. I never thought I would do this on my own. And you know why I am? Because I got frustrated on a situation, several situations, and I'm like, you know what? I was watching TV the other day and they were just doing this on a Zoom video because they're in quarantine as well. And I'm like, hey, I can do that just as good as they can. That was a reframe. And here I am. So go reframe something today and see how beautiful it works out for you. Talk to you soon.